Hey everyone, I'm Benjamin Reese. I've been speaking at This Week in Slam. I got two wonderful people here from Shreveport that have come down to serve and to listen to the word and to just hang out for the week. So that's been awesome. I have Kyle here. If you would introduce yourself, where you're coming from, and then a little bit about how you ended up here at the Slam Week.
So my name's Kyle. I am the youth director at Broadmoor United Methodist Church in Shreveport, Louisiana. And as far as this week has been great. I mean, just a phenomenal experience for us. It was weird how it kind of came about, and I know that it's been a lot of running around pieces for y'all as well, getting the week ready. But just a little bit of a story. So we were supposed to have another mission trip here in Nashville. Had everything planned, already paid deposits, all of that sort of stuff. And then we're told that after the fact, oh, that week's already full.
Oh.
And we went, but we went through all of the process, and just some miscommunications between other offices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just kind of fell through the cracks, and so, I mean, we're panicking. We're just sitting there going, well, what are we going to do? We've got this mission trip. Well, I mean, kids had already paid deposits to go on the trip. Done all of the students here had to do fundraisers and stuff like that for the trip as well. And so we were just trying to figure out what are we going to do? And so seriously, I go on Google and I just start Googling mission trips, and I'm just talking to God. I'm like, God, we've got to make this mission trip happen. I know we're gonna open a door, and I don't know what door is gonna open, but we're gonna open it. And so one of those that we came across was Slam, and Amy, who is actually Elizabeth's mom, and she's one of my main volunteers. We kind of went through a long list of mission trips to see which ones really feel right, and we just started crossing them off the list. And eventually, one of the only ones left we had on the list was Slam, and so we circled it. And then obviously, well, y'all know the rest of the story, but it's. Originally, it was really supposed to be a Columbus week for y'all here because of the slam going on in Columbus, and then the stuff happening here wasn't really even supposed to be on the table, and so Kevin, who's great, just calls me and says, "Hey, we want to figure this out. We feel like if you feel like God is calling out to serve here, and then we want to try our best to make that happen on just even a Bones crew schedule, which I think is just phenomenal." And then we kind of figured out some of the other pieces as far as what sort of things we'd be doing when y'all normally run 100 kids, and you've got 7 kids and 3 adults here, and how all that was going to work. And it's just really been a moving experience to see how even when it feels like everything falls through the cracks, that we can just make room for God to be in the midst of it, and that God will still do God's work.
I don't think there's no better feeling than feeling like you've been an answer to someone's prayers, but I'm glad that we were there at the other end of your prayers. And one thing that we got going for us here at Slam is we're flexible. That's we have kind of 3 major pillars of Slam's spirit, which is flexibility, intentionality. We want everything we do to be meaningful, and then God's presence and word just kind of going through. So I'm glad we could have the flexibility to incorporate you guys, and it's been such a wonderful time with you all. I'm really thankful that it all worked out. We also have here a Slam participant, Elizabeth. How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Good. Now, tell me a little bit about your week, what you've been doing, some of what your experience has been like.
Well, mainly we've just been at this apartment complex in their park area, running this summer camp for kids, and it's just really awesome to see them come out, even though there's a language barrier there. Not all of them speak English, and it's really cool to just be able to still have fun with them, even though we can't talk to each other. I can still kick the ball around with this boy, even though he has no clue what I'm saying and I have no clue what he's saying. But we still have that connection there. And I thought that's been really special. And today we did face painting.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
these girls are like all around us, just painting on our arms, our faces, our legs. Like it was just like I have
That
this
must
girl
have been fun
here,
for them,
like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, girl painting on my arm here, and then girl trying to paint on my forehead over here.
Right. Have you done a lot of like working with youth? Is this something that you're comfortable with? Are you stepping out of your comfort zone? What is it like for you?
So this used to be like completely out of my comfort zone, but with my church, like literally at the beginning of the summer, we have this program called TNT, and it's like this summer. What would you classify it as? Like a camp?
It started as kind of like a Mother's Day Out program
Okay.
where they drop their kids off from like 9 to like 2 o'clock, somewhere around that range, and then pick them up. And it kind of just developed into this Tuesday through Thursday program of just like fun events for the kids during the summer.
Yeah. So my mom like works at the church now. So the children's director reached out to my mom and was like, would Elizabeth be interested in like working this with us? And I was like, why not?
Why not?
And so like I did it, and like through those, I was only able to do it with them for 2 weeks, but through those 2 weeks, it was like I was able to build these connections with these kids, which I've like never been able to do before. Like I used to be that person that was like, man, like I wish I was good with kids, but like I've really been like, I'm proud of that growth that I've had with kids.
Yeah, that's awesome. There's so many lessons you learn and ways you can grow in character just working with youth. I mean, having done it and you having done it for a long time, it really does like make you just grow as a person, and your patience and your creativity and your flexibility. We were talking about that last night, just the creativity and flexibility that working with youth requires. And that's pretty fun, you know? So can you, tell us any specific experiences that you've had that you're kind of carrying with you or thinking about?
One that just really stuck with me, because like a lot of people these days are like, oh, like children don't know God, like all of that stuff. But we were actually telling them a Bible story, and this girl spoke up and she was like, I know this story. And she just kept speaking about that story, and she gave like all the details and this and this and this. And I just thought that was really amazing, because that's not something I would have expected to see this week.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was going to be like we try to teach them about God, but like the language barrier and like all of that would kind of crumble, and that wouldn't really reach to them like that. But I think that telling them the Bible stories like every day has really worked out well. And I think we are getting to them.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it's cool like that they have that interaction already, or that knowledge of God's word already, that you guys can build on. Then it makes it a lot easier to communicate with people who already are aware of the stories and know the stories. Kyle, going to you, what has been some of your major hopes for your students for this week? What have you been praying about, and how have you seen God answering those prayers throughout this week?
So interestingly enough, we were talking about this actually before the podcast started, but like with practically every mission trip, I've kind of been guided by the story of Jonah, and how Jonah gets to the end of his piece that God has asked him to do. He's tried to run away, and he's decided to go back and tell the Ninevites what they need to hear, and the Ninevites hear what he has to say and start to change their ways. And then he gets angry because he's waiting for God to smite them, because he has this specific idea of who these people are. But God is at the end of Jonah is just telling Jonah, like, you know, I showed you this grace, I showed you this love. Why would I not share this with these other people? And that's my concern sometimes with even our students, who I really do. I mean, everybody talks about their students and how wonderful their students are, but I really do think our students are wonderful, brilliant, creative, athletic. But one of the things I think that often gets lost is that we see these things through this lens, and mission trips are a chance for us to open these horizons and really experience it, because we can say, you know, there are children out there in the United States that, you know, hear the sound of gunshots most nights before they go to sleep, or there are kids out there who don't know where their next meal is coming from, or there are kids out there who are going into, you know, their second year of elementary school and still don't really understand the English language. We can say all of those things, and they can understand that from a concept, but when they have it in front of them, they can they can finally see the whole picture. And especially when they start learning their names, when they start interacting with them, when they start seeing the joy that these specific things bring them, whether it's the Bible story or someone who's willing to sit down and talk to them, or just kick a soccer ball around with them. All of these experiences are chances for them to see the world in a different way and to see all of us as children of God, and not just the people that we interact with on a regular basis, or the people that maybe go to church with us that we may see that way. So
that's amazing. And I'm glad. And I've been hearing it from your students, just talking about the observations they're making about the economic conditions that they're seeing, the spiritual conditions like Elizabeth has been speaking on, and just various other observations that makes me think that, their eyes are very open and God is really showing them some things that I think you all are going to carry with you for your lifetime, hopefully. So thank you all for coming on this podcast and sharing a little bit about your experiences. We got a little bit left of the week, and I'm excited to see what God is going to do with the rest of this week. So thank you all out there in whatever land you're listening from. And we'll see you later.